Hi, everybody. It's Mrs. Peters. I just wanted to say hello and hello, all my awesome artists out there. So, I was really impressed with the amount of students that sent me their drawings. I know a lot of you had questions. This is about a SARS we got the other day. Very light sketch with our eagle. Some of you had questions about what do you do with it once you draw it. So, what I'd like you to do every day is we'll do a lesson. I'll teach you online. And then you just take a picture of it with your phone. You screenshot it, or you can do like a little selfie with yourself with it. Just make sure I can see the lines and just upload it to the assignment section in Google Classroom. And then all I do is I'll check it in. You get 100 for participation that day. And then we move on to the next lesson and then just take a picture every day. So then you can kind of see the process that you are doing, and I get to see the process you're doing as well, because sometimes when I just let you do the whole thing, um, I don't necessarily get to see that process, and that's, I think, very important. So like in sports they say trust the process, in art trust the process too. Well, let's get started today. If you missed that first lesson, go back and watch it. But I like to always review when I start a new lesson, so that's what I'm going to do. So here we go. You want to get your pencils ready, get them sharpened up, just a regular pencil. If you have a special art kit with lots of pencils, this is an excellent lesson to use them on, but not necessary. And we'll do the best I can. I'll show you some tips and tricks how to do it with what you have at your house the best you can. Here we go. All right, we left off here with our drawing of our eagle, and we were using this photograph to draw our eagle. So I'll do my little picture in picture so you can see me here. Hi, everyone. So this is what we were working with. Um, we were following the steps that I also put online, and those steps were to first you start with arranging your paper so that you can fit your animal or whatever you're drawing on the screen. The next thing that we were doing is we were drawing the shapes, big shapes. You always want to fit things on the page. It's nothing, there's nothing more frustrating than you get to the end of the page, you don't fit it. Now, I did notice in some of the feedback that I got from students that some students are drawing ultra small. And if you draw too small, what's going to happen is you're not going to have enough room for all this detail in the feathers, and it's not going to look as good as it could. So what I'd like you to do is really maximize your paper. So if you're using a piece of computer paper, use the space. If you're using the paper that you got up from school, the 18 by 12 paper, use the whole space, and you want to fit it in. The only thing I didn't fit in down here where I left a little space for I call them finger feathers, and up here. So we're going to get started in just a second. All right, so I have my handy pencil ready. I have my eagle picture, and I have the drawing I started the other day. So we started out with our big shapes, and now we're going shapes within shapes, and we started out with the tail feathers, which is down here. We did our tail feathers. And remember, it's okay if they don't look exactly like the picture. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pick one of the wings, and I'll put these kind of side by side. And right here, these feathers, I like to call these finger feathers because they kind of look like fingers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we got a little one, 7. So if we just space those out right here, 1, this one's kind of slightly on an angle, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5's on an angle, so we slant it or do it on a diagonal. 5, 6, and a little baby one, a 7. So sometimes it's just okay to draw the lines like a stick figure. So you just space it all out. And then when I draw this, I'm going to move this piece of paper out. When I draw this, I'm just going to go up and like a letter J. So straight line and a J down. And then a straight line and a J down. And a straight line And this is going to go right to the end on this one. And a J, kind of curve it and down. Same thing. So I'm pressing down a little bit harder because I know some of you really need to see this, but I like to draw lighter. So just remember that. There's my J, back in, my angle, and then that little baby one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Those are kind of oval-esque, because if you look at the picture, you don't really see the ends of them. Sorry, you don't really see the ends of them, so that's okay. All right, let's do the bottom. So for you to see this, I just got to turn it like this. Sometimes that's what you got to do. All right, so here's my feather, really light, or my wing, and we're going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. So we're going to just go straight line 1, little bit of a space, 2, 3. The fourth one is the longest one. 4, 5 is on a slant, 6, 7. Now, I planned this out that I'm really maximizing my space, but if you didn't plan it out well enough, and that's okay, go back, erase, make the rectangles bigger or smaller. So your guidelines are going to help you because they'll erase easily. All right, so we're going to do straight line, J, straight line, the letter J, and continue straight line J. The fourth one's the longest, so I'm maximizing my space. J, J, and here we go. So there's all of our finger feathers. So if I turn our drawing, you can kind of see that. I'm going to take my picture-in-picture off just for a minute so you can see the whole thing. It looks like that so far. So it's starting to look like a bird. All right, so we got some more work to do here. So let's check this out. We did these feathers and we did these feathers. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw the feathers, all these ovals on each wing. And there's a lot of ovals. Oval, 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 oval. We're going to go. Now, when you do this, notice how they change. They go straight up and down here. And then they start to go on an angle as they get closer to those finger feathers I was talking about. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to start close to the body, right? And since we're just kind of comparing, I'll do the best I can to get these both in here for you. We're going to start close to the body, and we're going to do oval here. So it's kind of right under that dark triangle that we made. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you don't really have to count them. I just count them just so you're kind of going along with me. And what I am doing is I'm overlapping the rectangle we previously made. They're starting to get long. They're starting to turn. Now these feathers overlap the ovals that we did the finger feathers with. So you can see. So if they don't all look like perfect, that's okay. Remember, we're going to shade this in, so that's quite all right with me. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Here we go. So we get the other wing. When we look at our picture, our image, it's always important to look at both things at the same time if you can. I highly recommend printing out the eagle. If you can't print it out, that's okay too. We're going to start close to the body, and then we're going to work our way out. Here we go. Oval, oval. And I remember teaching this in class with some of my students, and some of you were so particular and you wanted it to be completely perfect, each feather. Well, here's a tip. The wings move. Everything moves around. So if these guys aren't perfect, that's okay, because it's going to look more natural, like an actual animal. So don't be stressed out if it's not looking perfect, because it'll look good in the end. It'll look better than perfect. It will look real, because real things don't always look perfect. All right, so we did really good. We got our feathers in there. We got our shapes within shapes starting to get there. So what about these two long rectangles up here? Well, those are filled with lots of small ovals, and you're going to see these two.